Welcome, survivors, burnout community, and those just interested. It's Kelly Bupoltz, trainer, author, speaker, and your burnout prevention mentor. Burnout is not taboo. It's our reality in this chaotic, fast-paced world. But we're not going to let it drive the narrative to our stories. We're going to do something about it. So let's dig in. We're going to talk about one of my favorite topics aside from accountability, and that's delegation. And the reason why it's one of my favorite topics is because every industry, every organization struggles with this. And I think it's because they just have not been taught the right tools on how to apply, or they've been taught the right tools and then they go back to their operation or back to their sites and they don't actually apply them because it's kind of an uncomfortable situation to start exercising. But as you exercise it, it actually begins to grow. And other people begin to mimic the behaviors. So it's a really great conversation to start on how can we train our leaders to delegate? Because when you start doing that, you actually start creating the next line of leaders. You start to see what actual strengths and behaviors other people have when you don't have one leader doing everything. And the other reason why I love talking about this is it goes into the workforce energy management framework on how we navigate our teams, how we guide the direction of our team, how we communicate within our team and the expedition that we're on, that synergy, that team energy and trust, and then the workflow. We're gaining productivity by optimizing, not by adding more. Because if we're just adding more, then just pay the leader more and get rid of the team. If we haven't already built out your workforce energy management program, please contact me with the website listed below so that we can begin to lead the change instead of always chasing it. So let's get into this. Why delegation is a challenge for leaders is there's common fears of losing control. If I do it, I know it's done right. I know it's going to be done on time. I know it's going to be done with high quality, right? So it's that reassurance that it will succeed. But if you are doing everything without delegating, are you really doing anything 100%? Are you really getting everything done on time? And so you have this thought of, it will be faster if I just do it. But if you say that 5 times in a day, you're not even doing your job anymore. You're just doing everyone else's job. So you actually have a lack of trust in your team. Ouch. I know that's a hard thing to come to, but we're going to get into some ways we can flip that. The hidden costs too in not delegating is leader burnout, leader low. You have a bottleneck because now this one person has to do all these things instead of the 5 people that you hired. And then you have a disengaged team. The statistics say that 70% of the U.S. workforce is disengaged. That means that they don't have value-added work. That means that you don't have leaders delegating down important, deep work, creative tasks to them. So it's a hidden cost, and the hidden cost of disengagement is 40% of someone's salary. So say if that statistic directly applied to your organization, 70% of your employees are disengaged at a cost of 40% of their salary. That's a lot of money. So there's a hidden cost to not delegating. The other thing that's happening is the mindset shift. So delegation isn't just about offloading work. It's about coaching and developing your team. So you have talents, you have strengths in your team that you haven't even untapped yet. You have someone in your team that might have the next best thing. You have someone on your team that might be the next leader, but until you delegate, you will never know that strength. We're going to get to how to delegate between team peers in a future episode, so make sure that you're connected out here, following my channel, sharing this out to your leaders so that we can begin to lead the change instead of chasing it. Why leaders struggle to delegate is fear of mistakes, right? If they do it themselves, they have control of the situation. They know what's going on at any point in time. And that means that it's meeting expectations. But maybe they just need updates. Maybe they just need to understand the skill sets of their team to trust that the job is getting done. The other thing that might be happening is lack of clarity. Who does what? What is on their workload? Do we actually have a clear picture of what this role is and their responsibilities? Another thing that's going on is that comfort zone of micromanagement, because you know what's getting done. And if I just tell them what to do, then they're going to do it my way. That's great for the short-term comfort feeling, but in the long term, you're not empowering your team. In the long term, you're just doing the work and you own that work. So you're breeding lack of accountability, you're breeding disengagement. And then these past experiences that leaders might have had where they delegated things out and it didn't succeed, or horrible things went wrong, or we went past a deadline, we blew past the budget, that's also going to groom why leaders don't delegate. So what we have to do is we just have to acknowledge those root causes, because that is human behavior. And then what we're going to do is we're going to guide them to different action. First step we're going to take is choose the right tasks for the right person. That means you're going to match the strengths and responsibilities to the role, to the person in that role, to make sure that that skill set is aligned and that they're going to own it. If I have a new hire onboarding and someone is mentoring and training them, if I have a big initiative, probably not a time to put it on that person's plate, even if they have the skill set. Is there someone else on your team that also has that skill set and is ready and has the workload availability? That also is assessing the readiness. You'll never know what someone will do unless you get them to that coach moment, unless you get them to that empowerment moment. So you can even begin the conversation on how comfortable do you feel on handling the situation. Do you want to do it independently? Do you want some of my mentorship? Do you need some checkpoints throughout the week to make sure that we're on task? Again, you're leading them to see what they can do, assessing the readiness. And then you set ownership expectations. So say they want to do it independently, but you still have some apprehensions of losing that control. You can set up frequent updates so you know that they're on the right path. Step 2 is going to be defining the success and giving the resources so that you're setting them up on the right trail. Sometimes we assume people know what's in our head or what came out of our mouth, and you really needed to bring some more clarity and details and information to it, because they don't always hear the conversations that you're having. So for example, I was in a lot of different committees and a lot of different meetings, so I knew a lot of information, and I would come back and I would start talking about a project and how we're going and the goal that we want to achieve. But I leave out all the little details that are naturally in my brain from attending all these meetings, but I didn't give them to my team. All right. So am I setting clear expectations with information and resources that's going to set them up for success? Did you clarify the outcome and not just the task to get there? Because there might be a better way. A great way to move out of this like micromanagement, don't want to delegate mode to a coach is asking them, what does success look like when we hit that goal? How do you see yourself approaching that? So you identified the goal, the outcome that you want to get, and then you backed up, right? Part of leadership is knowing when to step up and to step back. So you stepped up and you placed the outcome and the goal in front of them, not just the task, the end, outcome, and goal. And then you step back and you ask them, what does success look like? That's going to confirm that they know what the outcome, the goal is. And then you can start to coach them. How would you go about approaching that? And you didn't tell them anything, right? See what they come up with. And then provide necessary tools and context to the situation where necessary. You don't need to micromanage the situation or overload them. See where they find the resources and information. And check for understanding to help yourself with that control, that letting go type of feeling. Can you walk me through how you would tackle this? Again, confirming that they're on the right trail, and then you're allowing yourself to let go. So step 2 is clarifying and defining that successful outcome or goal, and then giving resources or a general map of where to go and letting them explore from there. Step 3 is a little bit more difficult, and that's why we need to exercise and practically applying your operation over and over again. And that's why in my mastermind, we meet monthly, is because it's a journey, right? So you're going to try something out. It's going to work or it's not going to work, or you're going to run into some hurdles. And then the next month we get to talk about what were those hurdles, not only just me, but the peers in this group, and then how you can work through this, because you will trip over a few rocks on this way. But the more you practice it, the better you get. So we want to move into step 3, which is support without micromanaging. Are you setting checkpoints? Are you letting things derail so that you can confirm later on, I should have just done it myself. I knew it would get done if I would just do it myself. Set in successful checkpoints and updates that you can reroute if needed early. You don't need to be constant oversight. You don't need to be in the same meetings that they are if they're already taking care of it. You do need updates. How frequently do you feel comfortable that you're not hanging over someone's shoulder or constantly oversight that they feel like they can't do a good job? Can you back up and just get an email? Can you get an update in the system? And then when a challenge does arise, do you jump in and firefight? You become the hero right away, taking over the project? Or can you step back and coach? Ask questions like, well, what's working well? Where do you need more clarity? And again, you're staying in this curiosity state, curiosity coaching, that doesn't direct them down the path that you want them to, but still achieves the outcome desired. Do you see that? Let them explore off trail a little bit. You might find a better way. You might even find a more productive, successful route with still hitting that end outcome. You shouldn't be focused on all the little steps along the way unless you see it going way off trail. And then by moving out of this micromanagement to coaching, you are empowering ownership. It's okay to literally communicate that. Hey, I trust your judgment on this one. What do you think the next step is? Again, you're empowering them to trust in their intuition that's growing, to trust in their skill set that's growing, so that you don't have to micromanage the situation and you get to let go of that task. Effective delegation isn't about just freeing up your time. It's about developing your team, building that trust, and creating a culture of shared ownership.
I know you're not lazy. Most people in burnout are high performers, those serving others before themselves. Don't discount this step today, the action in which you focus on your self-growth. Piecing together the puzzle is half the journey. Rediscovering yourself, energy, and establishing new habits is the other. Do not underestimate the untapped inner strength inside you. Explore more resources on my website to move from zombie mode back to liveliness. See you soon.